Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Money Codes. This is Joel here. I actually have a special guest with me today, Jimena from Smart Credit. We do a lot of content on credit repair, how to look at our credit, how to dispute, how to make sure our credit profile is basically as sexy as possible before we go to the lender. The funny thing is I've been using this Smart Credit platform for like 4 or 5 months now. I actually switched over from another platform. And I spoke with you a little while ago and you put me on to so much. I'm like, I'm letting my clients jump on this platform. You know, we're using it the traditional way. We're just pulling credit. We're looking at the credit profile. We're doing our disputes. But then you're letting me know, like, hey, did you hear about this feature here? And I'm like, no. Like, did you hear about this money manager feature? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, but I'm excited that you're on our channel, you're on our platform, because I want to go over or let you like break down the score builder, the score boost, the money manager, everything that's behind smart credit that can actually help us not only help build our credit, but when our credit is where it needs to be, how to maintain that credit. So without further ado, we have Jimena from Smart Credit. The floor is yours. I'm excited once again for you to bless us on our channel.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Joel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into a test account and show you guys how the platform works and really why Joel has partnered with us to make his business even more powerful, leveraging our features of what he does. It just really overall gives you guys a really great service and a really great way to build your credit, but also protect it for the long term. It's not a thing that's something that you do once and you forget about it. This is an ongoing thing. Like you don't eat dinner once. You eat dinner usually every day. You get real hungry.
Right. You got to maintain it.
Yeah, exactly. So let me go in here. So when you log into your Smart Credit account, you're going to first see up here your credit score. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. That is, very simple. We are pulling this from TransUnion, so it's coming from a trusted source. We also have your auto insurance score and your hiring risk index. So if you're looking for a job, usually those that pay over $100,000 a year are going to sometimes look at your credit. And then you can track your score over time. So as you start to get results, you can really use this as a way to see where you were and where you went. Now we are also about not exactly who you are today, but who you can become in the future. So this is why we show you here. This is your future score if you follow our plans. So I'm going to start with the score boost feature here. And this is leveraging your credit cards. So for example, let's say you're going to be in a loan process and you need to get a loan faster, you need to raise your credit score fast. You can just come in here and see the balances. We're going to tell you when to pay your cards and how much to put on each one. And we're going to show you how many points that's going to add to your score depending on your budget. So this example here, they owe about $15,000 in credit card debt. If they were to pay all that off, they're going to get 77 points added to their score. But let's say I don't have 15,000. Maybe I've got 5,000 or 3,000 I can put on my cards this month. Then it tells me, okay, we'll pay the Amex first, put $869 on that. You're gonna get 6 points in the next 19 days. Another 16 points on the Capital One, and then the Citi card, it's not really doing too much. But notice how if I switch it, my cards change in order. So it goes by what's gonna give you the biggest bang the quickest. So notice how here is 19 days, 28 days, 30 days. But then you get the most points on this one.
I'm actually thinking of a client that I have right now. He actually has multiple credit cards and he's on a limited budget. So what he can do here is say, okay, well, I have $1,500 to play with. Where can I use my funds to, I guess, apply to the credit card to make sure I'm maximizing the return on investment, so to speak, for like how it impacts the credit score.
Exactly, yeah. And so we have you pay a few days before the financial institution's going to report your balance to the bureaus. And so that's why we tell you when your balance is going to update and how much time you have.
Perfect.
Alternately, if you're going to go on a shopping spree, it says, hey, like make sure you pay it off by these dates. Otherwise, it's going to cost you, this many points. The other things that are really interesting is really managing your money in one place, right? Because, your score is one thing, but just like when you get braces, right? You have the braces off for a couple of years, but then you have this retainer thing you got to wear for the rest of your life. Otherwise, your teeth get crooked, which I didn't wear my retainer and then I had to get braces again. So you don't want to have to go through credit restoration twice. So
Yes.
you want to make sure that you're managing all your accounts. You've got a clear picture of your financials, of where they stand, of all your checking, savings accounts, your investments, your credit cards, your loans. And this tool here, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time because it's pretty simple to use, but it's gonna remind you of when payments are due so you're not late, so that dings your credit, right? The most important thing though that it does is it's going to tell you, it's going to monitor your accounts for you so that you're able to prevent fraud as it's happening, right? So I'll give you a quick story. Over the holidays, I have an American Express card. I have a couple of them, and I travel a lot with that card. And so somebody was using my card to pay for a hotel stay and then to also pay for food while at the hotel. And so Amex did not give me any notifications. They thought it was me. It's very normal for me to travel. But then I got the notifications from Smart Credit about these charges because I've got my alert set up that anything over $100, I get an email and a text. And I saw right away that that was not me. So I was able to call Amex, pause the card, and report the fraud and prevent them from, charging up anything else. I got the money back right away. But can you imagine if I didn't do that? They would have charged up a bunch of money. I would have not known for like a month or two because I don't log into Amex that much unless I'm gonna use my points or something. So that's really, really important. The other thing too is our score builder feature. Now this is only going to be available if you have anything negative on your account. Now this is different, Joel, than what you do because you're normally sending the letters to the bureaus, correct?
Yeah, we usually start off, well, we do a little bit of both, but we usually start off in the first few rounds to the credit reporting agencies.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this is another thing that you can do at the same time or a little bit after. It's up to you how you want to do it. But here you can also send a letter directly to the creditor. So we're going to walk you through the accounts that are helping your score because these are in good standing. And then we're going to show you the ones that are hurting your score. And so most places would stop there. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take an action. And then I can say, hey, if this is identity theft, I would report that. But this is a 30, 60, 90 day late. Maybe I just want to request a goodwill correction. I took an action, so I can't do that here. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay. Normally I would hit one of the actions, but it looks like people have been using this test account. So then it says here, you can see here 4-6, there's some actions pending because all I would need to do is click a little button. And then with that, we're gonna send out the letter. So let me see if I can click it on the ID theft.
So now does this action wizard, does it create the template and then the client goes ahead so I can print it, or is everything created, sent through you guys?
Everything is done through us. So you just hit the reason. You could add to it, or you could just leave what we have there and not type anything. And then we're gonna send the letter out. We're either gonna mail it or we're gonna fax it. So that means that it's not an online dispute. It's not, those are not very effective. We're actually mailing out the physical information.
Awesome. Quick question, because I know when we do like the disputes to the big three, they've been like super dragging their feet with like communication. FCRA has to be, I think, like 30, 35 days for them to respond back. So they've been like super dragging their feet. So we've been doing a lot of CFPB complaints as well. If someone goes and they do it through this system, through this, are they able to get like a copy of like what's sent out? So let's say we had to do a CFPB complaint to or about one of the debt collection companies, and they just ignored us for like 3-4 months. Is there any like track record that we can like print out from Smart Credit or through this wizard that says, hey, we sent this out, or Smart Credit sent this out on my behalf? We haven't heard anything for months. Like, what's going on? Like, is there anything like that we can use?
Yes, you are sent a notification when the letter is sent out. As far as the response, sometimes they respond to us, in which case we'll notify you and it'll be in your account. The other cases, they're going to notify you directly to the consumer. So in that case, you would have the response and it wouldn't be in the account. For the most part, I would say it's about a 70-30 split. 70% of the time they respond back to the consumer, 30% they respond back to us.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, because, this, so just so you guys also know, we have patents on this technology, so you cannot find this elsewhere. We're the only ones where it's not just about seeing your credit and getting some advice. It's really about taking action, getting a real plan and doing something about it and getting a result. So we are the only ones that have this capability. In your account, you also get your 3 bureau report and score included. So you have all 3 here. This is updated once a month. And the last part, which is, that protection part, which I was mentioning, it's not just about building your credit. Once you build your credit, you've got something to lose and you've got something that thieves want. So you want to protect it, which is why we've included $1 million of identity fraud insurance. And if you have any issues, the number to call is there. But just to put things into perspective, on other competitors, you'd be paying upwards of $30 a month just for this feature here. So with us, you get all of this, and the pricing is a lot more competitive. So definitely make sure that if you have everything in place, you build your credit, you protect it, you're managing your finances, you're getting alerts if there's any fraud, all these things are very important, especially in today's crazy environment.
Yeah, very true. We did a video on that actually a few months back on just the prevalence of fraud. And I did a video, I think it was like the breakdown of the dark web and how like so much of our information is being like put out, phone numbers, emails, phishing scams that are like attacking the senior citizens like at a crazy level. So you got to protect it. If you're going to put this much time in repairing your credit, you're getting everything back on track. It might take months or maybe a year. Like all it takes is one person to mess it up.
Yeah, exactly.
One account, and it's like you've made hundreds of points depending on where you started. And just one account that, like how you said, you had an Amex account, someone's like balling out on your expense, and then you wake up and you're like, what the heck happened to my score? And unfortunately, and the reason why I even got into like doing YouTube and doing money codes is a lot of people, sometimes they'll even go to like a model home, because I used to be an on-site agent. They will go to the model home and they don't even know what's on their credit report.
Yeah.
Like they'll get on the phone with the lender and the lender is giving them information like, hey, do you know that you have this account and this collection and this credit card? And half the time they're like, I didn't even know. So if we're not paying attention to what's on our credit report, like no one's going to babysit it for us. So we have to stay on top of what's on our report, because that's how we're going to get, better interest rates, mortgages. Like this is the adult report card. So we got to stay on top of it.
I love that, the adult report card. That is so
It really is. It really is. Just a quick glance at a credit report, and then a lender may just be like, you know what? No, like I can say that as an agent. Sometimes we'll send, over a file to a lender, and they're just like, come on, Joel, man, come on. Like we get judged by that, unfortunately. So we got to stay on top of it. We got to clean it up as much as possible.
Exactly. Very true.
I had a quick question too. I didn't know if you turned off the PowerPoint, but the statement dates and the due dates. Can you put that back on the screen for a second? I don't know if you still have it.
Yeah,
because this is a
Score Master feature. Score Boost
yeah,
feature.
this was one thing that I liked, because I think one of the more popular videos that I have on the channel is when to pay down your credit card. I forget the title, but I basically go over between the due dates and the statement date, and everyone is just preoccupied with the due date because that's when like the late fees will come in if you're paying, and that's going to hurt you. But that statement date is when that information gets sent over to the credit reporting agencies. For example, if you pay down like your balance to zero on your due date, but the very next day you go out and you ball out for the weekend, like 3-4 days before the statement date, you're sending over that high utilization over to the credit reporting agencies. And then everyone's confused because they're like, I pay on time every single month. I'm never late. Why are my scores getting a hit? Does Smart Credit kind of give you an idea of like, hey, your statement date is on the 15th. You should probably pay on the 10th, or anything similar to that?
No. So we have what's called the pay by date. So it's a few days before we know they're going to report to the bureau. So we've mined all this data from the different financial institutions, and so we tell you like you got to make sure that your payment is posted by this date. because about 4 days later is when it'll update to the bureaus. I mean, yes, to the bureaus. So
Okay.
that's the date that we have. And that's the only one that matters. So like I would always, just to be safe, like, hey, if it tells me 4:30, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pay what, 4:28, latest 4:29. So I want to make sure that it's posted. And then that's when it's gonna report 4 days after that. So just to give you a quick example of what that did for me, you know, like I've always had pretty good credit since, well, I had bad credit in my early 20s, fixed it, and then, you know, after that I learned my lesson, right? But I started working. Like we all did that. Yeah. I started working here and I had about a 740. And I'm the type of person that I would always pay my cards off at the end of the month. Like whenever the final due date was, like that's when I was paying. But I would always pay like the full amount. I didn't, you know, I don't spend beyond my means. I started working here and I stopped doing that and started paying by this date. And now my score went up to a 790. I could never for the life of me get it above 742, the highest. And now just like changing, I'm still paying the same amount of money. I'm just changing the dates. And that was all that I had to do.
That's big. I think what you just described is why that video was popular, because it sounds simple. Yeah. It's like, oh, duh, like just pay before. But just that one little thing I've seen over and over again, people getting 40, 50 point like jumps, not by disputing, not by getting rid of hard inquiries. For whatever reason, like hard inquiries is like the magical thing on the internet. But it's like, if you just pay attention to that statement date, you're going to get the most bang for your buck. As long as I know that I'm paying by that date, or at least maybe 1 or 2 days before, right? I'm going to be safe, because I'm going to be sure that the numbers, that utilization that's going to be sent over is going to be advantageous for me. And then after it posts, then I can go ahead and spend however I want. And then the next month again, that pay by date, make sure I pay that down again. As long as I keep doing that, I'm always kind of giving my the information that is being sent over is always going to be like the best image. I'm never going to report or send over a high utilized credit card. It was important when you said it the first time, but I just wanted to touch on that again, because that's super, super important.
Yep, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Joel, thanks so much for having me here. You know, if there's any questions in the comments once this is posted, I'm happy to come in and answer them, or, you know, anything that you need. Yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you got a lot of value out of today. I hope you learned something. So.
Definitely. I know I did. And thank you so much just for taking the time on. I know you're super busy. I watch all your other videos on YouTube. You do an amazing job.
Thank you.
At some point, I'm going to go ahead and put a link, because I know I still haven't figured that out, but I know we're going to do like some special pricing for the link for those that are watching that are excited about this, that they can sign up. But yeah, we'll try to go ahead and post this as soon as possible. And then I'll keep a track of like the feedback, the comments, the questions. And then hopefully we can do this again, maybe in a few weeks or a couple of months.
Yeah, that sounds great. Anytime.
All right.